What is going on, Mullen fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today I want to talk to you about Mullen, the stock that everyone absolutely loves to hate. But I'm going to give you a good breakdown of the data points and based on what Powell recently said, where things might be going with Mullen. So I'm going to go over all that. Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. Without further ado, let's get right to it. So Mullen down 16.81%, after hours up 2.3%, but after hours don't really amount to anything at all. And of course, today was a very big day because Powell did come in, raise the rates by 25 basis points, but of course that was a forecast. But what Powell more importantly did was after he gave a lot of ambiguous statements. He said technically inflation is around 6%, they want it to 2%. So that does mean behind the scenes that there's going to be more rate hikes. Of course, he did also say at the same time that he's going to be monitoring the data and increase if needed. So at the same time, he kind of gave conflicting information, and unfortunately the market does not like gray. They like black and white. And even when it comes down to Mullen, that is a very perfect example of that because David is pure gray. Like everything he says, nobody trusts because there's no validation on absolutely anything that he's ever done. So this is why I've always said in the past, I really like Mullen and Bollinger's products, but David is just a huge liability. Based on the next earnings, maybe they should put him as a liability in general, but definitely not a positive sign. And unfortunately, I think this is just killing the sentiment so much more because of course, a lot of people can always spin this and say, well, it's a good discount, it's going blah, blah, blah. But based on the technicals and so forth, I'm going to give you a good breakdown of what I mean, potentially where things might be going, but the technicals do not look good by any means, especially considering Powell's grayness on the market. But right now, looking at stochastic, it is currently at 6, and it's been considered oversold since about tail end of February, give or take, but there is a bearish deviation right now, so red line above the black, showing an underlying bearish sentiment. Number of retail investors have been oddly getting in since around the 7th, give or take, or a little bit more earlier than that, around the 27th. So they do see a lot of good value, but I think at some stage there's going to be a lot of margin calls when it comes down to Mullen, if it hasn't already. So that's something that you really need to factor in because given the market circumstances, even though Powell is raising the rates, he's doing so because he doesn't see any fear of a recession. But if there is a very big recession, and of course I know based on official terms we are in one, but I'm talking about 2008 or potentially worse, where consumers break down. And right now, consumers for the most part are still doing their job. They're still making money and so forth. So right now, the pillars, they are prompting up the economy. If they were to break, then stocks like Mullen is very, very scary on potentially the outcome of that. So I'm going to give you a good breakdown of the data points, starting with shorts. So I'm on Ortex on a side note. So short score is currently 72. Utilization is 100%. The percentage of free float on loan is around 18%, give or take. Just to break it down on what they did today, shorts, they gave the two middle fingers to the market, basically. So they're getting very, very cocky. And the fact that they raised almost about 14 million shares today is kind of scary. So they're extremely bold right now. And of course, what they are anticipating, because I know a lot of people out there, like, what are they trying to do? Are they trying to get blood from a stone? Like, how much lower can this go? What shorts are anticipating is that there's going to be a reverse split very, very soon. A lot of people are assuming that David is going to be doing it early, and this is where unfortunately a lot of shorts are going to make a lot more money if there is a reverse split, because it does kind of reset that balance. So of course that's the mentality of shorts right now. There is 246.94 million shares being shorted, 13.1% of the free float is being shorted. Cost to borrow surprisingly is going down, so the average is around 13.65. As far as this, so the options activity, still once again a lot of calls being purchased, so it is in fact just shorts. As soon as they open up a position, it is very cheap for them just to open up a call because for the most part they're paying about 2 cents for every 100 shares. So it's very cheap for them to kind of hedge that way. And this is why you do see, for instance, a lot of these abnormal outliers based on these two right here, because just in this alone is around 19 or almost $20,000 in call premium. So that is what they are doing. As far as activity today on the secondary market, there's only been one transaction, so $165,000 in one transaction. And you can tell just based on this over the last couple of days and comparison days, big money is taking a step back. And unfortunately, when you do get that lack of buying, this is where shorts are able to, like I said, just kind of freely run where they see fit. Of course, there's no fundamental news behind the scenes with Mullen outside of the Dragonfly, but I think right now the sentiment is still very much negative on that, especially based on the price point of, for instance, the GT. The GT I think is $149,000, and I do cover Lucid under my other channel, so Financial Journey. And of course, having that high of a price point for a vehicle has its problems already, given the market circumstances right now. But outside of that, just to give you a good overview of where things might be going. So based on the actual chart, it's well below a lot of the pivotal moving averages. It is on a little bit more of a death spiral right now. So you do have to look at the fib levels. So right now it is trading between the S3 and the S2. So around 6 cents to 15 cents is anticipated. But for the most part within this range, it's just going to be whole numbers being the next support levels or resistance, vice versa. So hypothetically, it's going to be around the 11-cent range. And then below that would be 10 cents, and obviously you guys get what I'm saying. So in reality, I think it might continue to trend down until around the 10-cent range, might bounce off of that and have a little bit more of a value rally, but it all depends on operations. The only thing that can save it right now is operations. It needs operational updates and not just another false promise, not another new product. It needs actual deliveries. And to be honest, I know that might upset a lot of individuals because Mullen does have a lot of good products, like I already said. But unfortunately, at some stage in the game, David needs to follow through on the commitment. And as of right now, this is why it's gone down so much, because of his lack of commitment and lack of preparedness. And of course, lack of preparedness is resulting in so much dilution at the all-time lows. So like I said, I do anticipate around the 10-cent range being a temporary bottom, and then at that stage, depending on what Mullen is in fact doing behind the scenes, that might be where it does kind of bounce off into higher zones, or it might just break that and go down at that stage. So let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments below. Like I always say though, I like to give you the good, the bad, and the ugly. It is very hard to spin days like this being down 17% as a positive. Today, there's absolutely no positives. And I think the underlying sentiment with Mullen right now is just very negative, of course. But let me know your thoughts on all that in the comments below. Even though Mullen is in fact going down, make sure you guys take advantage of promos like I've been saying with moomoo, only up until March the 31st. Just who cares? Just open up an account. You get one free stock by doing so. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. Even if you just want to do that, because there's no risk to you, you get one free stock. And it might be something fairly decent. Like I said, it is up to $2,000. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. Link in the description below and also the comments. If you also want to throw $100 at it as well, you do get 4 additional free stocks. And because of the whole chat AI movement, you get 1 AI and also another BBAI. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. And also let me know in the comments below if you are planning on selling. Are you getting discouraged with Mullen? Of course, I think that's a little bit more of a stupid question, but do you think, or do you still have hope in Mullen? I think that's a better question. So let me know your thoughts on all of that in the comments below. Like I said, I appreciate you guys watching, and no matter what though, hopefully let's all make a lot of money on Mullen.